Avajoy, can you break down the ruling for us?
Hi, Del. This is a major win for so many Native American communities. As you mentioned, this act gives preference to tribal communities when it comes to the adoption or foster care placement for Native American children. This is the third time that this act has been challenged here at the U.S. Supreme Court, and this is yet again another win.
For all, I think, Native Americans, this is a great day.
The Supreme Court ruled Thursday that social services can continue to prioritize placing Native American children into the care of tribal families over non-Native families. In a 7-2 decision, the justices rejected an argument that the Indian Child Welfare Act, or ICWA, was based on race, and instead preserved the 1978 statute that was enacted because of concerns Native children were being taken away from their families and often placed in the homes of white people. The Cherokee Nation Principal Chief, Chuck Hoskins Jr., tells Scripps News the chronic separation of Native children from their communities wiped away their culture.
Hair was cut, traditions were banned, speaking the language was not just figuratively beaten out of children, but literally beaten out of children. I mean, physical abuse.
The legal battle started when 3 white families in a few states argued that the law was unconstitutional because it was based on race. The plaintiffs in the case adopted a Native American child, but then ran into roadblocks when they tried to adopt a half-sibling. The attorney for the plaintiffs said, "Our main concern is what today's decision means for the little girl, now 5 years old, who has been a part of the Brackeen family for nearly her whole life." Larissa Little Wolf is the co-director of the Tribal Training and Certification Partnership at the University of Minnesota Duluth. Little Wolf has been educating social workers on why the Indian Child Welfare Act is critical to the preservation of Indigenous communities.
This decision upholds what we know, right? Like it upholds what we know as Indigenous people doing this work. It shows that, there's that backing.
Chief Hoskins with the Cherokee Nation says he hopes today's ruling will put to rest what he calls political attacks against the act. And keep in mind, Del, that there are more than 500 federally recognized tribes here in the United States, and more than 75% of them approve of this act.
Avajoy, before I let you go, in so many of these cases, we see large crowds out in front of the Supreme Court. I'm looking behind you, and I do not see that. Despite the gravity and the depth of this particular ruling today, were they there?
They were not here, and we know that there was another leader from one of the other nations who showed up here, but I only knew that because I saw it on social media. This is one of those cases where there wasn't a lot of attention on this particular case. In fact, many people were looking for that affirmative action case or possibly voting rights cases or even the student loan case. But when this one came down and people were able to absorb what it actually meant, that is when we were able to start to get the analysis and realize the importance. So, of course, Scripps News was very happy that we were able to reach out to some of these leaders and get their side of the story, as well as the side of the story for the plaintiffs who brought this case.
Scripps actually has a correspondent that focuses on Indigenous issues. Avajoy Burnett for us in Washington. On Capitol Hill, Avajoy, thank you very much.